Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank. I'm very excited to bring to you, my podcast listeners, a workshop that I've been doing for a few months now with members of my membership group as well as coaching students. And this powerful workshop is called Tap Powerful AI Tools Workshop. It's going to be on Tuesday, the 28th of October, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm excited to bring this to podcast listeners. So what are you going to learn in this workshop? First of all, let me just say something very quick. If you're not really tapping the power of AI to save you time, effort, and money so you can spend more time inventing, you are missing out. And I can assure you, you are tapping just a fraction of the real power that's there. So this workshop is going to have two modules. Module 1 is query optimization. You'll learn how to design the perfect optimized query to get right to the specific answers you want. And one of the things that you're going to find is how to create in less than 10 minutes, get this, a competitive product market study for your product with one single well-designed query in AI. You'll learn how to do that in this workshop. And the students in the last workshop were amazed with the benefits of that. But wait, there's more. There's a second module, and that is create images using AI as your artist. Use your imagination, describe what the image you're looking to create, and you can create custom images. Now, on both of these, I'm going to also share with you different AI platforms that you can use easily that will give you particularly good results. So on the creating imagery, we're going to look at 4 different platforms that can help you with that. So how do you get there? You just go to alanbeckley.com/tapai. Again, the link to get there is alanbeckley.com/tapai. The workshop is going to be about an hour and a half on Tuesday, the 28th of October. 7 p.m. Eastern, and I look forward to seeing you there. Oh, don't wait to register. Register now because the limited enrollment is no more than 15 students because this is a hands-on workshop, and I really would like for you to be there. Welcome to episode number 551. Today, it's Thursday, and that means it's time for another Thursday thought. So what is your Thursday thought for today? It's this. The 2 worst decisions inventors make. Now, invention is risky. One of the riskiest businesses you can choose. Simply put, it's front-loaded with large expenses, and any profits may not come until months or even years later, if ever. I suspect you have already accepted the reality of what I just said, or you wouldn't still be listening to this podcast. No get-rich-quick here. I believe in telling you the truth as I see it, and not sugarcoating things. Over the years, I've made wise decisions in my inventing business, and not so wise decisions. I've worked with lots of inventors, and all agree that you'll make some poor or unwise decisions. So today, I'm going to share with you what I consider the 2 worst decisions you can make as an inventor. Spoiler alert, they both have to do with risk-taking. Think for a couple of minutes about what you think might be the 2 worst decisions you could make as an inventor. Have you got a couple of them in mind? Good, let's start. I'll bet you won't have chosen one of the decisions I'm about to share with you, or at least not in the order I'm going to share with you. So, drum roll, The worst decision you can make is choosing to take the least risk you possibly can, or almost no risk. I bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? So, what is the second worst decision you can make then? The second worst decision you can make is choosing to take unwarranted risks, usually spending large sums of money hoping for a big payoff. Let's briefly take these in reverse order, and then I'll share a personal story with you to illustrate. So, what is a good example of an unwarranted risk that you shouldn't take? Well, paying a company $10,000 or even $20,000 or more to help you license your invention? Yes, I'm talking about invention marketing companies. At the end of the day, these are the kinds of outlandish fees they foist upon inventors, hoping to get rich from their products. The truth is that marketing your invention through licensing can be done very inexpensively. Roger Brown spends less than $100 to license his products. I'm not including expenses with prototyping here. But it should definitely be possible to pursue licensing for about $500 or less. So why is taking such an expensive, unwarranted risk only the second worst decision you can make? Here's why. Because while it's painful and expensive, you can recover from it and get started onto a better, vastly less expensive path towards licensing. I've helped quite a few inventors to do just that. So then, why is taking the least risk or almost no risk the worst decision you can make? Because it usually involves the paralysis of analysis or procrastination, sitting on the sidelines and choosing to do nothing for months, even years, waiting for circumstances to be better, right? Guess what? In the meantime, someone else got the same idea you had, but chose to take action on it. Given that, often there is no recovery from this minimum risk choice. Now, let me tell you a little of my story that illustrates this principle, I believe, very clearly. When I filed my first patent way back when in 2002, I was working full-time in telecom as a project manager. And let's just say the economy was getting pretty dicey about that time. And I was working at Alcatel. And all of us in that group of about 250 people, we all knew we were going to be losing our jobs through layoffs. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. Because we knew about every 3 months there was going to be another 30 or 40 who would be laid off. And that was that. Well, guess what? It's during this time that I came up with what I consider to be a brilliant idea for a thin, flexible wallet. No more rump bump. It didn't hurt to sit on it, and it could hold twice as many cards and be half as thick, which ultimately went on to become the Wonder Wallet. But I'm getting ahead of myself a bit. I spent a bit of time, enough time to do some due diligence and do some product validation, and I felt very confident that I really had a winner on my hands. But the reality is, I was facing an economic circumstance that wasn't great. I was going to be getting laid off pretty soon. Didn't know for sure when, but probably in the next few months. And I was going to file a utility patent with my patent attorney, costing me at that time about $5,000. About to put $5,000 on a credit card into a recession economy and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the telecom business, which was the second biggest telecom market in the U.S. During about that 1 year period, 50,000 people just like me, engineers, technicians, project managers within telecom, lost their jobs. And there were not going to be 50,000 new jobs to replace those. Going to be quite a few less. All of this I knew in advance was going to be the case. And I thought, is this the best time for me to take the risk of working with a patent attorney, putting $5,000 on a credit card to move forward with seeing if I could make this product become a reality? Now, initially, that sounds like definitely an unwarranted risk. But what I want to share with you, it was a calculated risk, not an unwarranted risk. So I made the decision nervously to do so, and I never regretted it. Ultimately, as you guys have heard many times, it took a lot of time, but my product became successful, quite lucrative, actually. Also, to finish off the story, I got laid off about 3 months later, and it did take something like 9 months for me to get a replacement job as a contractor, not as an employee. So I did recover from that economic circumstance. But let's go back to looking at the decision point. I took what seemed like an unwarranted risk, but in fact, it was a calculated risk. I wasn't taking the least risk I possibly could, and it wasn't an unwarranted risk. However, guess what? The least risk I possibly could have taken would have been to say, ooh, look at this. I'm about to lose my job, and it could be a long time before I get another job. It's much better to sit on the sidelines, to do nothing. Don't take that risk. Don't put this on a credit card. Let's just wait until times are better. Well, looking back with 2020 hindsight, here's what I know. A year later, it wouldn't have happened. There were other things that came up, so I'd be looking at it and saying, nah, time's still not right yet. Maybe 2 years later, it wouldn't have happened. I don't think I'd be having this conversation with you if I hadn't chosen to take that risk to move forward with my product. And just to highlight, the worst decision you can make is choosing to take the least risk you possibly can, or almost no risk. And the second worst decision you can make is choosing to take unwarranted risks, usually spending large sums of money and hoping for a big payoff. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.